I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test, part 511, while doing morning stretching. And if you participate in the morning stretching, I set your own risk. I looked the word admitted up, and it means to be allowed. So, even so, during the early 1970s, Britain admitted, that means they were allowed to come, 28,000 people of Indian origin who had been forced to leave Uganda. I still don't really get why we're using the sentence structure like that, but it seems to mean that they were allowed to come in. The number of people migrating from the West Indies, India, Pakistan and what is now Bangladesh fell in the late 60s because the government passed new laws to restrict immigration to Britain. Immigrants were required to have a strong connection to Britain for birth or ancestry. Even so, during the early 70s, Britain admitted 28,000 people of Indian origin who had been forced to leave Uganda. Why do we start now with even so, comma, during the early 70s? Another comma, Britain admitted 28,000. I think it means we will come another round. Okay. Do we add more that also? Rebuilding of Britain was a huge task after the Second World War. The British government had encouraged workers from Ireland and other parts from Europe to come to the UK and help with their reconstruction. Also saw 1948 from the West Indies. During the 50s there was also a shortage of labour, that seems to be the people. What is now the task itself? Is it the same? So here it is LABOUR. We're going to look if we find somewhere else, if it is the same word. Industries advertise for workers overseas. Centers were set up in the West Indies to recruit people. I don't feel well with including it, or with naming it. We have not enough background information, not detailed enough. To make it in a separate video. We of course learned it for the Life in the UK test. That's why we're repeating it. We're repeating it still, but I don't think we're going to include it in the video which we're going to shoot now about the swinging 60s. Okay, just the swinging 60s in the 1960s was it in London. Fashion, cinema and music. And for example, with the music group Beatles, Rolling Stones, the people had more money, were better off, and could buy cars and other consumer goods. There was also technological progress. For example, that Britain together with France developed a supersonic commercial airliner, the Concorde. New styles of architecture came, for example, or including high-rise buildings, and the use of concrete and steel became common. And also, were laws passed. Laws passed to enforce, or to forbid, the women were getting less money for the same job. Laws were passed ensuring that women are getting the same payment as men. Or discriminate against women in the workplace. And also liberalized laws to divorce and abortion. Okay, let's start to do it. I have a second camera which I'm going to start now. And on that I tried to list now down what we learned about the swinging 60s in this book. So let's start. The swinging 60s. The swinging 60s are the decade of 1960s. So 1960, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 67, 68, and until 1969. In Britain, that was a time of growth, for example, in music, fashion, and film. Was it film? Yes, film, cinema. The swinging 60s, so the decade of the 1960s. That was in Britain a time of growth in cinema, fashion, and music. Music, for example, were the two groups, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, who made popular music. There was also the people were better technological progress, concrete steel. The swinging 60s. The swinging 60s are the 1960s. And in Britain it was a time of growth in cinema, music and fashion, for example. In music there were, for example, the two groups, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, who made popular music. Also there was technological progress. The Concorde, a supersonic commercial airliner, was developed by Britain and France. Also in the architecture there were new things, high-rise buildings became more common, and concrete and steel were used more. The people were all over better off, and many were able to buy cars and other consumer goods. There were laws introduced which ensured that women are getting the same payment in the job as men, and also laws to abortion and divorce were liberalized. And that is according to the Life in the UK Test Handbook, page 55. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera. And we will do now the morning stretching part. And in the next video, we will maybe gonna make something about just economical and migration. Also, it would be just in 4 or 5 pages, a little bit more, so we could maybe include that in another separate video, which we make broadly overall away, because it's a little hard to learn if the things are here not written together. I said it a couple of times to Ireland. There's always a little fraction. And maybe we ourselves going to make one video about migration, what we have in here. Or economic also. The next thing will be probably the inventors, or rather maybe Peters, because we don't have enough time. So if you're just here to learn about Dane, maybe Peters, or the inventions, you can go directly to the next video. We will do now the morning stretching. If you participate in the morning stretching, that's at your own risk. We are bringing one leg up and the pointing of the foot, the mushroom. Now the other leg up and point the foot. Next exercise, legs standing wide apart, and we're breathing in and coming slowly down. Coming up, we're breathing out. Again in. Again in. Out. Again in. And out. One more time. In. And out. Again in. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And out. Exercise, a new one. Legs are standing a bit long and shoulder wide apart. We're breathing in and lifting the arms. And out we come over to one side. Now we're going to down rib cage. And again out. Breathing it in. And out into the middle. Breathing in. And out over to the other side. Breathe in and down rib cage. And again out. Breathing in. And out into the middle. Next exercise, the name is now one CCR Updraw. Same setup, we're breathing in. And out with one hand slides down the leg, and the other shoulder stays down. Now breathe in. And out we're taking one arm over. Breathe in and out, ribcage. In and out. Breathe again in. And out into the middle. And breathe in. And out, the other hand slides down the leg. And the shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out, we're taking one arm over. Breathe in and out, ribcage. And again out. Again in. And out, back into the middle. Now the aerobatic aeroplane. The feet are standing together. Breathing in and lifting the arms up. And we're breathing out, we're letting one arm down. Breathe in and reach. And again out. Breathe in. And out, one arm down. Breathe in and reach to both hands. And again out. Take it in. And out, one arm down. Breathe in and reach. And out. Again in. And out, one arm down. Breathe in and reach. And out. Arms up. Next exercise, Niagara Falls. The legs are standing wide apart. We're breathing in. And out, and we're just hanging down. We only had to come deeper down by breathing deep in through the nose and out through the mouth. So breathe in through the nose, deep into the chest. And breathe out through the mouth. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out. Breathe again in. And now out with our arm to one leg. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out over to the other leg. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out into the middle. Now breathe in. And out, close the feet. We keep on hanging down. So just stay down and breathe in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Breathe again in. And out. Breathe again in. And out we come slowly with the round back up and making it the top the backwards. Shoulder roll. Closing exercise. Legs standing wide apart. We're breathing in and going down slowly. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. And now breathe in and close the legs. And out. That is for morning stretching. I thank you very much and until next time.